Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and I have Andrea McKinney on the call with us today. Andrea is out in Michigan having a little problems with her video, but she's here as well. Welcome to the call, Andrea.
Thank you, Doc.
You know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
How about that?
How about that? You know, it's a cancer that seems to affect everybody, doesn't it?
Well, there are a lot of people that have been affected by it, for sure.
Well, there's a lot of people with breasts.
This is true.
Everyone
has breasts.
Everybody has two. Doubles your risk. Come on, you got to laugh. You're not in a funny mood today. So I thought what we do is maybe show people a few things that they can do to lower their risk today. Talk a little bit about some nutritional products that are beneficial. And really, you know, Andrea, what I want to say is that we can't say cure or treat or anything like that. So I like to point that out right away in the beginning for everyone, so that they they don't think that we're trying to tell people that that there's a way of curing or treating, right, with natural products.
No, we're just supporting the body so it can remain healthy.
That's exactly it. So I thought I'd go over a few facts. You know, I got this off of WebMD this morning. They said that doctors are still uncertain on how to really prevent breast cancer. So, you know, that's what WebMD says. And they said, so, you know, and I pulled this off their website. What causes breast cancer? They say advancing age. And every website that I went to, they said that getting older seems to be the most important factor. Then it said genetics and family history all play a role. And they said that, you know, risk factors, anything that can increase our risk of this disease. There's high, there's moderate, there's low risk factors. And then there's really stages. You know, in general, the higher the stage number, the more advanced the cancer is. I think that's true with every cancer. And really, I mean, you've heard me say it a million times that if you don't get cancer, that's really the only real cure, isn't it?
And that's the best.
You know, I mean, they say early detection and treatment is still the best strategy for better cancer outcome. And that's true. And they're developing some things right now. There's a lab they have a lab that they can actually detect cancer in stage 0.
Really?
Yeah. You know, they say that in stage 2, 50% of cancer is missed. Stage 3, it goes up to like 75%. Or no, the other way around. Stage 2, it's like 75 to 80%. Stage 3, it's like 50%. You know, so yeah, not very good statistics. And so they say that there's more breast cancers that diagnosed over the age of 50. Part of that might be that maybe more women are getting examined after the age of 50, but definitely age has a factor to do with it. Genetic mutations, which are, I mean, these are things that you can't change. I mean, well, I don't know. I don't want to say that either, because with the stuff that we're doing with anti-aging, getting older becomes less of a risk factor. Mutations to the genes, the BRCA genes, women that have inherited these genetic changes are at higher risk. Reproductive history seems to have an issue. The breast tissue itself, personal history of breast diseases, family history of breast diseases, radiation therapy seems to have an effect. And then there's some drugs that women took back in the 40s through the 70s that increased the risk of breast cancer as well. Those are some things that you know, they're saying you can't change. Again, this is going off of some websites, the CDC, WebMD. Here's some risk factors that they say they can be modified. physical activity. They say that if you're not physically active, you have a higher risk of getting breast cancer. Being overweight or obese after menopause seems to have a factor in developing breast cancer. Taking hormone replacement therapy increases the risk. Birth control pills increase the risk. Reproductive history, having the first pregnancy after the age of 30 and not breastfeeding can increase breast cancer risk. Drinking excessive alcohol, being exposed to chemicals. So those are all things that have factors. So I thought what we do, Andrea, is we look at this risk factor that they call getting older. And, I remember going to a seminar 25 years ago, and the doctor said, whoever said you had to get sick, you had to feel old when you get old.
Right.
Is that a good statement? I mean, whoever told you, they said, oh, Andrea, when you get to be 65, you're going to feel old.
Yeah, it's just kind of a given in our society.
It was, wasn't it? I was at a street dance back in my hometown 2 weeks ago, and I was talking to my friend's sister. I was talking to Lynn, and Lynn said, man, do you remember back when we were kids? We thought that people who were over the age of 50, they were old.
Right? When I was 18, I thought people who were 28 were old.
Well, I never went that far. But I see what you're saying, yeah. So the thing about getting older is that you have to realize that you have more time on the planet, which gives your body more of a chance to be exposed to harmful toxins and radiation. And these things increase your risk of causing genetic mutations. And when the chromosomes get damaged, there's a greater risk of causing these rogue cells or these zombie cells, like you call them, which cause free radical damage to the cells and other tissues. And so what I thought we might do is we might talk about lowering the risk of DNA damage and possibly doing some things to repair the damaged DNA.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I thought, what a great topic for today, right?
Yeah.
So I really love talking about resveratrol, but as I looked up these Sirtuin genes and DNA, as I was putting my slides together this morning, I found that there's a couple other things that we really want to talk about when we talk about repair. So a lot of people are confused with this word Sirtuin gene or the SIRT1 gene. We hear a lot about the SIRT1 gene because I think that's the one that's the most studied. But the SIRT genes refer to a class of proteins that are present in living organisms. They're proteins or genes that produce a mono ADP ribosynyl transferase. Say that 100 times fast.
Right.
Right? Or decyclase activity. That one's a little easier.
So are these, I don't think of proteins and genes as being the same thing, but I guess they are. And are they found in the immune system then? They're found
throughout the body.
Okay.
Yeah. So these SIRT genes, they're the housekeeping genes.
They clean everything up?
They clean up the mess. So they help with aging, apoptosis, which is that programmed cell death, inflammation, and as well as transcription, which is the way that your genes replicate. They regulate the activity of the genes that are responsible for the functions such as cell defense and metabolism. So they're pretty important deals, aren't they?
Yeah, it sounds like the mother gene, like tells you when to clean your room. When to
That's
change.
That's a good way of saying it. Right on. So Sirtuin genes need to be activated in order to go to work. And so they found that calorie restriction is really the best way of activating.
I just watched a video by a doctor from Harvard who was saying that, you know, to be a little bit hungry 3 or 4 times a week and a little bit cold 3 or 4 times a week will lengthen your age. So this is how that plays into it. It's putting a little stress on the body to activate the housekeeping.
Right. Somebody just told me the other day that they were reading that if you can step away from the table and still remain like 25% not full.
Uh-huh.
They said that was good. So that kind of falls in play with what you're saying.
Right.
You know, so what can we do so that we can make ourselves so we're on the brink of making our body think we're starving without actually starving.
Right. And, you know, for so many years, they were like, oh, don't let your body think it's starving because you'll screw up your metabolism.
Mm-hmm. That's what my mom told me all the time. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so maybe that's why all the kids in our family are overweight. I don't know. Plus, you know, you look at our society, I mean, aren't we really a society that everything kind of revolves around food? I mean, really kind of the Christian faith, everything revolves around food, doesn't it?
Well,
if there's a funeral, we get together, we eat. If somebody gets married, we get together, we eat. When somebody's born, we get together, we eat.
Yeah, any celebrations.
Yep. So it's kind of something, a learned activity. But you look back to ancient times, you know, there wasn't all the food around that there is today.
Well, that's true.
You know, and then on top of it, you know, science has shown that most of the food that we have today, it's high in calories, low in nutrition. So we tend to eat more because our body craves the nutrition. You know, part of it is that we have a signal that comes from the brain, and it might be saying, hey, Andrea, you need more vitamin C, but you don't speak the same language as your brain does. And so you misread it, and you misread it as saying, oh, I'm hungry.
Right. Yep. I think that's most of our problem is we're nutritionally deprived and our bodies are craving nutrition and we just keep stuffing it full of things it doesn't need.
That's exactly it. Hey, you know, I went out and bought some lefsa. Do you eat lefsa?
No, I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of it? Well, it's like a soft shell taco wrap that's made out of potatoes.
Ooh, I might like that. I'm Irish and I love potatoes.
Yeah, it's a Norwegian food. But anyhow, my mom, we're not Norwegian at all, but my mom makes it for holidays, for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and it takes quite a talent to make it because you gotta press it almost paper thin.
Well, I do know in the keto world they take cauliflower and make breads out of that, and then it's keto friendly.
I wonder if that would work good. But go to the store and buy some lefsa. It's really good. Last night that's what I had for dinner. I had lefsa, and then my friend made some homemade blueberry jam. Holy cow, is that good? That's what I had for dinner.
Okay.
I don't know why I brought that up, but you know, so these Sirtuin genes, how do they help with aging? So they appear to alter the chemistry of the body by combating aging. What they do is they affect the DNA, and really we'll talk primarily about the SIRT1 because that's the one that's been studied the most. And they found that it's necessary for DNA repair. And so when the DNA is damaged from exposure to things like radiation or stress or things that cause the breakage of the DNA, they found that the SIRT1 gene goes in there and fixes that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So I thought what I'd do is I just mentioned some foods, you know, foods that activate the Sirtuin gene, because a lot of people, they say, well, you know, I can't afford to take those products, blah, 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 blah. You know, so what can they do to activate their Sirtuin genes? Well, of course, caloric restriction, like we were just talking about. Doing some intermittent fasting, doing some real fasting, once in a while. Green tea is great. We have an awesome green tea. We'll talk about that, but it's rich in antioxidants. Red grapes, they activate Sirtuin genes. Resveratrol comes from red grapes. Fish, oily fish from the ocean are a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. We talked about that last week and the week before, and they activate the Sirtuin gene. I know you've talked about olive oil. It has this, I'm not going to say this right, but leuropene and hydroxytyrosol. Those are fatty acids. Those are fats. Like fish oil has EPA, DHA, and olive oil has oleuropein and hydroxytyrosol. Say those fast too, and so they're thought to help promote healthy aging, and also thought to influence or induce the SIRT1 gene signaling. Pretty cool, huh? Olive oil.
How about that?
Maybe that's why the Greeks and the Italians lived so long.
Maybe they're eating pure olive oil without any GMO in it. That would be great.
Yeah, olive oil and fish and grapes and green tea. They consumed all of that stuff, didn't they?
Yep.
And then onions. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I love onions.
Yeah, they say that the polyphenol, this quercetin, I know I'm saying that wrong, that activates the SIRT1 gene. And they said the red onions are the best ones. I like the red onions. They're more sweet. They're not as strong. And then they found that they're calling these SIRT foods, parsley, kale. I started eating a lot of kale lately. Seaweed, soy. I don't know. I don't use soy.
Oh, soy is bad.
Yeah, but they're saying that it activates the SIRT genes, black currants, and turmeric.
Turmeric, yep.
Mm-hmm. We have turmeric in a lot of our products. Did you know that even in our Super Omega, we have turmeric?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. We have black currant. What product do we have black currant in?
I don't know.
Fucoid.
Oh, Fucoid?
Uh-huh.
I was going to say Spectramax.
So let's talk a little bit about the Sizzle products, just because, as a physician, Andrea, I just haven't found any products that are better than what we have here with Sizzle. They're just jam-packed full of nutrition, and they don't Tom doesn't just do the sprinkling, the fairy dusting of the ingredients. He actually puts the ingredient in the product.
Right, an effective amount too.
Yep. So our Sencha green tea, of course, green tea, like we talked about, it activates the gene. It's packed with antioxidants. Just green tea alone, it's packed with antioxidants. It provides energy and thermogenic support. It helps boost the metabolic rate, helps support healthy skin, supports healthy cell growth, which is what we're talking about with the SIRT gene. Right. Yep. And then we also have chaga, bacaba, and gotu kola, and these are adaptogenic herbs that we infuse into the green tea. Yep. So great product. And on the bottom, you'll notice that I put the disclaimer there. I copied this right off the Sizzle website. Because I didn't want to say anything wrong, but we can't make any claims. We can't say cure, diagnose, treat, anything like that. But
no, people can go do research on green tea and discover on their own how beneficial it is.
That's right. That's right. So, Eternity. This is the one that I love talking about because it has the resveratrol in it. So it supports, it activates the anti-aging gene, the SIRT1 gene, right? And that's because of the resveratrol. There's a lot of studies on resveratrol. Back when they first kind of made the big discoveries on resveratrol, they said that the red wine industry was just going to be huge because, that's where these red grapes go. You remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it would be if that's where you got it, because it takes 900 glasses of it to do something where our product is highly, highly concentrated in resveratrol.
Yeah, they say that in one bottle of eternity, we have the equivalent of drinking 1,000 bottles of red wine. That's how much resveratrol is in one bottle of eternity.
Yeah, I think I'll go for a little shot of eternity instead of 1,000 bottles.
That's right. That's right. So it boosts metabolism. It supports a healthy heart. It helps with inflammation. And supports protection of cellular DNA damage, which is what we're talking about with the SIRT1 gene. Yep. And what a great product. And it tastes good too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
I like it. I even give it to my dog. Chewy gets a dose of it every morning.
Yeah, and it just takes a little 3/4 of an ounce each day.
Yeah, he doesn't get quite a 3/4 ounce though. They say that dogs don't need as much.
Right.
So Super Omega Plus, this is kind of my product of the month that I really want to concentrate on. Super Omega Plus for the month of October. I'm really putting a lot of stress on this product, and it's coming up a lot. When I decided that I was going to be talking about it, all of a sudden, the local news started talking about omega-3s. And 2 or 3 times a week now, I can watch the evening news, local news, and they talk about the benefits of omega-3s.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah. So we've got omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. We don't just have omega-3 in our formula. Like we talked about, it's got oils from fish and krill and seaweed and all these different things. To provide that blend, because they found that, omega-3 isn't omega-3. It's not the same. Somebody asked me, they said, well, can't we just take flaxseed? Can't we just do this? Can't we just do that? And the answer is no.
Right. Well, if they want to know more about that, you can actually scroll back in our public page, Doctor's Clinic, Fizz with Friends, and see the live that you did on the omega oils over the last 2 weeks. So just scroll back and watch it.
Yeah, or they can go on our YouTube channel as well. The YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C/Sizzle World Team, and they can watch the video of that talk as well if they don't want to go to the channel.
Right.
But again, the disclaimer. But last week we talked about how omega-3 helps with providing healthy fat to your body, and breast tissue has a lot of fatty tissue in it.
So does your brain.
What's the connection there?
You need fats for healthy cells.
No, I just meant because I'm saying that the breast tissue has a lot of fat in it, and then you said healthy brain. I'm thinking, wow. Sorry. Bad connection in my brain.
You're being weird today.
All right, I'm weird today. Body Shield. Body Shield is a really important product because, if we go back in the slides and we show one of the original slides, down in the bottom, it said toxic exposure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Increases your risk of breast cancer.
Well, yeah, I think it's all from toxins or synthetic molecules.
Yep. So Body Shield, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about Body Shield. We spent a lot of time in March and April concentrating on this product. and telling people about it. And we actually increased the sales of the product because of that. But Body Shield is so important because it's got something in it called fulvic acid. And fulvic acid is considered that miracle molecule. What it does, it pushes nutrition in, it pulls toxins out, pushes in, pulls them out. And that's how the fulvic acid works. It comes from the decomposition of ancient seaweed that's been decomposed for millions of years. That's what fulvic acid does. So it balances the pH, and it's a really good source of these antioxidants. And antioxidants are really good when you're trying to prevent cancer, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we call that the compost for your body.
The compost for your body. That's a good way. Everybody should learn that. So great product. Everybody should be taking it. It supports a healthy immune system, and partly because what fulvic acid does, it helps to repair the damaged mucosal lining in the gut. And the gut, they found that's 60 to 80% of your immune system is found in the gut lining. And because of all these pesticides and chemicals and things that we're exposed to every day, we damage the intestinal lining, and we create a situation called leaky gut syndrome. And so fulvic acid helps with repairing of that. So there's a lot of science on it. Again, the disclaimer down the bottom, we're not making any claims or cures, of disease or anything. We're just saying that, it's going to help your body by repairing some of these areas. And then the body can go about fixing itself.
Right.
Good product. And then we talked about fucoidan. Fucoidan, of course, is a extract from brown seaweed. It comes from down in the South Pacific, and it supports a healthy immune system, supports a healthy digestive tract, supports healthy blood pressure, healthy liver, healthy circulatory system, and really a lot of studies over in in Japan have shown that fucoidan is beneficial when you're talking about cancer. Haven't they shown that?
Yes, I love fucoidan.
Yeah, it's a great product. It tastes good. Again, it tastes good, and when you look at our product compared to any of the other fucoidan products on the market, our product is like hundreds of times more powerful. And because Tom holds a bunch of patents on this, a lot of patents on how to actually make it, and so it's really, we have the best. And then of course, we have to talk about the Agepill. The Agepill, it supports the body's function. It helps the stem cells operate at optimum potential. I was talking to a friend of mine in Minneapolis this morning, and I was telling her that, as we age, she's over the age of 50, just like you and I are. And what happens after the age of 50 is that, stem cells just seem to kind of go dormant more quickly, don't they?
Yeah, it's been shown in science that's the case.
Yeah. And lipofussion, it's kind of the accumulation of cellular debris, cellular gunk. That gunk is a medical term. Did you know that?
I didn't, but I use that word a lot.
Yeah, it's a medical term.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. But they found that the ingredients in the Agepill will help to remove this lipofussion. And all of these things, what they do is they give your body just a better chance of repairing and replacing damaged cells and organs. And that, this new product that Tom's coming out with, this senolytic product, that really sounds cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait for that to come out.
I was reading a study on senolytics this morning. Every morning I like to read medical studies, but I was reading a study on senolytics, and they were saying that in younger animals, in mice, they were doing studies on mice, and they found that in younger animals, mice, that when you started giving them a senolytic activating type of product, they found that you can almost, just with that alone, you can almost reverse joint damage.
What was that?
Yeah, that's what I said when I read it. So they found that giving senolytic products, senolytic activating products to younger mice, because what they did is they took mice and they induced joint damage. They damaged the joint through whatever process they do, and then they took and they gave these mice these cellular activating, the senolytic activating ingredients, and they found that these young mice could almost return the joint back to normal.
By removing senolytic cells. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the study that I read this morning. I thought, holy cow, that's amazing. But they found in older people, and their studies were with mice. So in older mice, it didn't work quite that way. Right, and part of it is because the joint was more damaged. And so because of more damage, it was harder to repair. So you couldn't get it back to normal like you could with a younger mouse. But they also found that because of the fact that, like we were talking about earlier, there's fewer stem cells in an older animal. They've gone into this dormant stage. And they found that generally speaking, there's the nutrition in a older animal isn't quite as good.
So that's great hope for people who have sports injuries and car accidents, when they're younger and they get that kind of damage. Yeah.
So the whole idea is out with the old, in with the new, right? That's what I called the title of my article that I put on Facebook this morning, out of the old, in with the new, is you take the old cells out, you put the new cells in, and you shake it all about. Isn't that a song?
Yeah, a little bit. Hokey pokey.
Anyhow, I'm sorry, I'm just being goofy this morning. But so what they found is that with the older mice, you actually had to do a little bit more, which meant this. So the older mice had less stem cells, so they'd have to give them a product like the Agepill.
Right.
And they had a lower nutritional status, which meant that you had to give the mice another product similar to Spectromax and Compass 360.
Raw ingredients to work with, of course.
Yep. And the Renovator.
Right.
So I kind of think that prevention is really the only real cure, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
Yeah. If you're not doing prevention, you're not in the game. You're not in the game. So.
And you can just start with a couple of simple all-purpose products with Sizzle, really, and just create tons of prevention.
That's right. I mean, like you look back, Agepill. Everybody should be on the Agepill. Anybody over the age of 20 should be on the Agepill. Fucoid, everybody from young to old should be on Fucoid. Body Shield. This is something that, we all need that. Super Omega Plus. Again, from young to old, we should be on this product. Eternity. Again, I don't care how old you are. If you're a little child, you're still getting DNA damage. And then the Sencha green tea, because it has all these adaptogenic herbs in it. So, really, Andrea, I feel that we just have a plethora of great products that are gonna be a benefit. And this one here, the Super Omega Plus, again, October is my talk about omega fish oils, because we need them and helps with a lot of different things. Body Shield. We talked about this in the spring. You and I spent how many weeks did we talk about Body Shield?
I don't know, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, I was just saying maybe even more than 4.
Yeah, it was good info.
lot of great info. And Coracoid, I mean, it's one of our best selling products, and then of course the Agepill, which, I mean, without doubt, this is one of those products that everybody should know about. So prevention, folks, prevention is the answer. Give us a thumbs up, smiley face. Let us know that you're there. If you have any questions, throw them on here, and Andrea and I'll try and address it next week when we get back together next Tuesday.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for coming on this week, Doc, and sharing all this great information with us. And all of the rest of you, wherever you're seeing this, you can always come to our public Facebook page called Doctor's Clinic, Doc Fizz with Friends, and ask to be connected there. I mean, it's an open Facebook page. You can just come in and look at any of the information that we've shared today or in the past and gain some information about how to optimize your health.
Thanks, Andrea. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Enjoy this great weather. We're supposed to start getting snow tomorrow night.
Shut up.
Dude. Yeah. They're saying a foot or more.
Keep it there.
I'll try to keep it here. Have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.